Let's begin by creating a new part in Sketcher and naming it Master Route. Once we have Sketcher loaded, go to your XY plane and start the sketch. Create two concentric circles, the first one of radius 31.5 millimeters and the second one of radius 26. Once you have this in place, you want to construct a vertical construction line that is 250 millimeters in length. And make sure you start out at this point. At the top of the construction line, we want to create two more circles, one of radius 17.5 and the other one of radius 12. Alright. And let me just drag out these dimensions for you. Alright. So once you have this, you want to create two symmetric lines, and they will be symmetric about this construction line. One of the lines has to be 26 millimeters, and the other has to be 18 millimeters. Alright, once you do this, go in and make sure that they are symmetric. So click each endpoint, then click the line, and make it symmetric. That did not work. Let's try again. Okay. This line, the 26 millimeter line, has to be 80 millimeters away from the center point of these circles. And in similar fashion, you make this line 30 millimeters away from the center of those circles, also making it symmetric. Okay, so next let's use our 3-point arc to create a rounded contour that will join this line in these circles. So click the endpoint of the line, click anywhere to the left of that endpoint, and now you want your circle to be tangent and coincident to the circle that's in orange right now. And if you look closely, you can see when it's tangent and orange. Is right there. This circle has to be of radius 180 millimeters. And just do the same thing on this other side. This time, starting your 3-point arc there, clicking here, and making it tangent and coincident to this circle. Okay, and just do the same thing up here. Just make the 3-point arcs have a radius of 35 millimeters this time. It's a little strange. Let's try that again. There we go. There we go. That's it. That is tangent and coincident. Just do the same thing over here. Before we continue, we have to trim out a couple lines. So let's use the eraser. Double click and trim out the following lines. Alright, there you go. That's what it should look like once you're done. Down here, just like that. And let's exit Sketcher and use the multi-pad tool to create two pads. Okay, you know that you're going to be using the right sketch once it's highlighted in blue, so play around with these sketches that you have here. Sketch 2 should be this shape, and we want that to be a length of 14 millimeters. There you go. And sketch 1 right here should be a length of 9 millimeters. There you go. That's how it should look. And now we want to create the guitar shape on the fat end of the part, so we enter this surface. We click on this surface and enter Sketcher. Let's begin by making two concentric circles. The radius does not matter at this point. Just try to keep them inside this circle for simplicity. We want each of these circles to be tangent, to be coincident and concentric to the surface circles. So click each of them and go to your symmetric tool, coincident and concentric. Do the same thing for the outside circle. Okay, once you have that in place, let's create 4 construction lines. The first one, just drag it up from the center of the circles to some distance like so. The other one will be dragged down from the center to some point, let's say here. And just make sure it's connected to the center of the circle. Okay. So now we want to create 2 horizontal construction lines. The length of this one should be 86 millimeters. And we want it to be tangent, and we want it to be symmetric about the center construction line. So as before, you just make it symmetric. And you also want it to be 15 millimeters away from the center point of the circles. It should be green, but it is not. Okay. These 2 points should be coincident. No, that's not right. Let's make them coincident. Okay, and make this line 15 millimeters away from the center of the circle. Alright, just do the same thing for a second construction line, this time making it 52 millimeters in length. And make it 40 millimeters away from the center of the circle. Alright, the points on the construction lines will serve as pivots for the 13 for the 13 radius millimeter circles that we have to create for the guitar shape end. Whoops. So click that end, click this end. Make it symmetric, and we can create 4 circles that are of 13 millimeters radius. And just make sure that the circles are in fact coincident to the endpoints of the construction line. Okay. So once we have this in place, we want to create a series of 72 millimeter radius circles. Just put them to the outside for now. Do one there. Put one down here. And we want one more out here. Now each of these circles have to be tangent to the, like this circle for example, has to be tangent to each of these. This circle tangent to each of these, and this one tangent to both of these. So as follows, let's make them tangent. Okay, so let's create a solid element across this symmetric line and make it 26 millimeters in length. And we just want it to match this solid edge over here. So we want to make it symmetric to this construction line. And we also want it to be 80 millimeters away, as before, from the center of the circles. So it looks messy right now, and I'll clean it up for you once I'm done. But you're getting the point. And we also want to create 2 3-point arcs like we did to begin, using this endpoint, clicking to the left, making it tangent and coincident to this circle. Make that as 72 millimeters. And do the same thing on the other side. Alright, once we have all these circles in place, we can trim out the unnecessary elements and just create the guitar shape that you can see in the picture. So let's use our eraser, double click, and to make it easier, you can be clever about the way you trim these lines just to make it quicker. So we're going to trim these inside lines first, then we're going to trim these inside lines, then the insides of the circle, making sure not to cut something you want to keep. Here we go. And now we can just trim the outsides of the circle.